It's now time to move on over to Insidious Epidemic, and the gracious hostess of this segment is Mrs. Viera Gossai. Viera ji is also the author of a beautiful book called Mahima. Today, Viera ji will give us an insight on global aspect of domestic violence. Let's take a look.
Good morning and welcome back to my second episode of Insidious Epidemic-Domestic Violence. My first presentation was basically the introduction of the title, Domestic Violence, and the main thing is why did I call it Insidious Epidemic? It's like a disease. So that was the first segment. The second segment will start from the global aspect of this issue. And here we continue. So my focus during this presentation will be to our Indian community. We Indians living in US or anywhere on the globe, we are part of this epidemic. We must never forget that this is only in Indian community and we are the victims. It is everywhere. This epidemic does not leave anyone. It attacks everyone regardless of their age, gender, race, ethnic origin, income, poor or rich, educated or uneducated, social status, which is a biggie in our community, neighborhood or community of our residences, and on and on and on. Unfortunately, this epidemic does not leave anyone alone. Now, I have gathered some data from Huffington Post just to let you know how magnanimous this issue is. And at this point, we don't know how to deal with it, but we will introduce ourselves about the issue. And if the percentage, that's the statistics that I gathered from Huffington Post. As a matter of fact, men are also victim of domestic abuse, but the percentage is low. 85% of the women are victims versus 15% of the men are victims of domestic abuse, and my focus will be to the women. And as a matter of fact, during my next segments, and these segments, my presentations, my reference point will be my book Mahima. This is a memoir, a journey traveled by Mahima from her childhood to adulthood, and how she suffered. That's the main thing, which is in the third part of the book. And I would recommend, if anyone wants this book, it is not available in the local public libraries. It can be bought from any online services like Amazon, Barnes and Noble. So if you type the name of the book on Google engine, you will find where can you purchase the book. So now I was talking about epidemic, how it affects us Indian women. And just in this country, in US, the number of victims is not 100,000 or 10,000. It is in millions. Millions of women are victims of domestic violence. One thing we have to remember here is this number is only the number obtained by the cases which are reported. Unreported cases are not counted. And the unreported cases could be because it's a sensitive issue. Women don't like to discuss it. So it's not out of their homes. It is within the homes. The second reason of uncounted cases could be because some women are kept captive in their homes. They are not allowed to go out. They are not allowed to talk to anyone in the society or the friends. So this is the magnitude of this number is amazingly very, very high. So again, this cannot be resolved overnight or instantly, but we have to keep working on this issue. That is my whole goal to do this series. Now, the domestic violence, when we talk about domestic violence, it's not only physical violence. It can be financial abuse, it can be emotional abuse, sexual abuse, or combination of all of them. And there is quite a correlation between all these abuses. So in this presentation, I would like to just read just a little bit, few lines from this book, where Mahima is the victim of the domestic violence and how she suffers. And basically my focus is how silent this episode, how silently it kills us from within. So this illustration is from a chapter in the book when Mahima went to see her parents, her family in India, and this is a conversation between her and her father. Here I read, Mahima, the main character of the memoir, was the victim of insidious epidemic. The conversation took place with her father when she went to say goodbye. The day was departing from him to come back to US. Father said, Mahima, my beta, I want to see you happy. Papa's deep voice came from his heart. Yes, Papa, trust me, I'm very happy. Why do you worry so much, Papa? And she lied. How could she hurt him more by telling the truth and the whole truth? She could not say more. She held her papa tight. She did not want to separate from him, starting sobbing in his arms. Please, Papa, please, somehow or the other, pull me out of this hell, Papa. And those were her unspoken words to her papa. Silence and more silence, and a deafening silence in between papa and daughter. Thank you for listening. I look forward to seeing you next time when we will be talking more about the impact of domestic violence. Thank you.